of us are perfect. The biggest thing that I recognize, I don't know if you know this about me, we've just met, maybe you figured out I've got a bit of a problem with authority, you know, and my other problem is I became a fawner for particular reasons. The issue, I guess, that I realized was my father, and I didn't see it as a problem then. My father was very authoritarian. It was, the house was his. In fact, there were sometimes we didn't have the right to shut the door of our bedroom. You know, so it's that was his room. That was his door, right? And the one thing I recognized looking back is that and I saw one of my brothers parenting one of their children, and what came out when the child said no, my brother said, "You don't tell me no," and it hit me that. Like, and I don't want to blame my father. I do know that my problem with authority and with the word no is part and parcel to the fact that I never learned and was never given the opportunity to figure out how do I say no to someone who has the authority of my father and the ability to punish me and the ability to take things away that I want. And then how did I then maneuver that? Because every one of us develops a way to say no, whether it's the word no or whether it's avoidant behavior that gets around and you never ask. So then and I've recognized that this has permeated my relationships, you know, like interpersonal romantic female relationships, because I don't know how to present my boundary because I only always say yes. And I say yes when I don't mean yes. And it really means, yeah, I'll come to that. And in the back of my mind is like, if I have the chance, you know, and it's really harmed me. And when I've just been looking back at it, when it happened, I was just like, man, I was not allowed to say no to the most powerful people in my life at a young age. And they didn't give me the opportunity to learn. Does this bring, what are your thoughts on that as you've been dealing with men and women and going through the parenting issue? Like, what's your thought on that?
First of all, Brother Charlie, I don't take it for granted. Thank you for carving this space out and willing to share that information with us, and trust us with that.
Absolutely.
Because we live in a time where you open up and sometimes things are weaponized against you. And so this is not the place for that. I love you.
Love you too.
And we're going to show up the same.
I'm short. My last name is Inch. I literally am Johnny Cash's a boy named Sue, man. A boy named Sue. That's who you got here. And you're so right. And I appreciate you giving homage to that. And you being vulnerable as well. Like, this is a place of sharing. People are coming out here because they're struggling. They're going through fucking hell. Yeah. They don't know what to do, you know. And they've got kids that are using heroin, you know. They don't know and it's causing their fight, flight, or freeze mechanism to pop up because they're worried that at 2 o'clock in the morning they're going to get that phone call and their kid's going to be dead in a gutter, and it's going to be the coroner saying, "Come down here and claim your kid." And I've had cases like that. I've had clients die of fentanyl. I've had commit suicide, you know, like people were going through hell. And that's what I want. I was like, man, how do we get people to talk about this when they're not in this? Like, how do we get them to find help? And so I just thank you so much for being here to talk about this.
Thank you. And I put out, I don't have all the answers. And what I find, I'm gonna come back to it. But what happens a lot of times is the folks that trust us with the safeguard their space end up edifying each other, you know, in terms of sharing their experience. And it's beautiful to watch. And I feel like that's what happened at the father event. I didn't come with no grand spectrum of answers and plethora of options. Right. No, we just showed up, authentic selves, committed to why we came, to walk away coming more inspired and more focused and whatever we needed.
Right.
So, but to your question, how does that show up?